Kansas City Sports Update Studios. Welcome to Kingdom Radio, where we talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs. Brought to you by Arrowhead Update. Join Chris and Richard on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Player FM, CastBox, and all third-party applications. Check us out on Facebook platforms such as Kansas City Sports Update and Arrowhead Update. And if you cannot find us there, Google or search Kingdom Radio and Kansas City Chiefs, and you will find us. Welcome to the Kingdom. Kingdom.
How are we doing, Kansas City? This is Chris Chavez with you guys tonight on the eve of our Week 17 matchup with the Los Angeles Chargers. Sorry, it's been a year and I still can't get their name right or their location. Anyways, Week 17 we're up against the Chargers, and this is definitely going to be a game that's going to be impactful for the Chiefs if other scenarios play out for us. Before I get into that, we need the New England Patriots to lose to Miami in December like they did last year to open up the possibility of us getting into the second seed and going into the playoffs. If we get this win against the Chargers and the Patriots lose against the Dolphins, we get the second seed and we get a bye week, and we'll have a home game in Arrowhead against the winner of the wild card game. And I personally am okay with New England and beating the Dolphins and for us to take the third seed. I'm okay with us going into that situation because as we look at our record over the season, we're 7-1 on the road, you guys. And that shows that we are capable of going into other people's houses and making a mess, leaving and letting them clean up the mess. And as we did earlier this season it wasn't necessarily in the Chargers' home, but in Mexico, we beat the Chargers. And I expect a very similar result tomorrow, but for slightly different reasons. So looking over the Chargers injury report, they only have one player who is ruled out for this game, in Russell Okung, their starting left tackle, which is huge because he really is the cornerstone of their defense or of their offensive line, and they're going to be replacing him with a rookie, much like they did when we played them the last time. And as we saw in that last game, we were able to terrorize Phillip Rivers. We only got 2 sacks out of him, but we had pressure on him the entire game, and we forced him into throwing 4 interceptions. So he made quite a few mistakes. He was 28 of 52, and so he definitely had a rough night. And I expect for him to have very much of the same result tomorrow due to that injury with Russell Okung. On the defensive side, they're healthy. They have all of their players. Their starters, their backups, everybody's healthy. I mean, they probably have a few nicks here and there, but nobody's out. Nobody is questionable on the defensive side. And this worries me just slightly, simply because the last time we played them, they didn't have Derwin James. And when Derwin James is healthy, he's probably one of the top 10 safeties in the league. And do I think that that's going to necessarily shut down our offense? Heck no. Do I think that it's going to make things a little bit more challenging? Oh yeah, definitely. And so just looking over their D-line, and we're going to be expecting a lot of pressure, obviously, from Joey Bosa, who is their leading sack getter, who is currently carrying 11.5 sacks on the season. Their next guy, Melvin Ingram, with 7. And then you're looking at their up the middle, their defensive tackle, and Brandon Mabane. He's the guy who's really going to control that interior. Justin Jones is pretty much just a block eater. He doesn't really do a whole lot up the middle other than stuff the run. But Brandon McBain, he can get after the quarterback up the middle as well. So we're definitely going to need for our offensive line to be on point in tomorrow's game. Their linebackers, Nwosu, Perryman, Davis Sr. These guys, other than Thomas Davis, these guys are still developing and finding themselves in the league. And Thomas Davis, that guy's been around for a while, and he's definitely one of the more respected linebackers in the game. Definitely have to give him his respect and keep an eye on him. But like we did in Mexico, I expect for us to be able to shut down Joey Bosa and control Melvin Ingram. I think Ingram ends up being the one that ends up pressuring Mahomes the most. But again, do I think it's going to lead to us losing the game? No. On the flip side of that, looking back at the last time that we played them, like I said earlier, Phillip Rivers was 28 of 52, but he threw for 353 yards. And the majority of those yards ended up going to Austin Eckler, who had 8 catches for 108 yards. We definitely need to focus on him coming out of the backfield. And then Mike Williams, he only had 2 catches, but he had 76 yards. And so we definitely need to limit his big play abilities. Keenan Allen had 8 catches for 71 yards. He's definitely going to be the guy who they're going to be looking to throw the ball to a lot. He and Austin Eckler are their leading target receivers. Keenan Allen has 139 targets on the year. Austin Eckler is the next closest with 97. But Mike Williams has 85 targets, but he has 13 more yards on the year than Austin Eckler. And that's primarily only due to Mike Williams, who has 47 catches on those 85 targets and 963 yards. He's averaging 20 yards per catch, which is very much like our McCole Hardman. Mike Williams definitely is a big play receiver, and so we need to shut that down and keep him from making those big plays like he did in the last game. Hunter Henry, their tight end, he is always a very quiet threat in the pass game. Anybody who really pays attention to tight ends knows that when he's healthy, he's one of the top 5, top 7 in tight ends in the league. This guy's always hovering around the top. Very athletic, can make catches in traffic, can make the acrobatic catch. He does all the little things. On the year, he's got 50 catches, but he's been nicked up a little bit. So now that he's healthy, he'll at least be making a push. Looking at their defense, Thomas Davis and Jalen Watkins were their leading tacklers in the game in Mexico. Ingram was the only guy who had a sack against us. Granted, it was only for a loss of 2 yards, but he still got to Mahomes, and that worries me. But overall, do I think that straight up can the Chargers beat us? No. They're going to need a lot of help from the Zebras and from us. We have to make mistakes in order for them to be able to beat us. And if we limit those mistakes, there's really no way for the Chargers to beat us, especially with the role that we've been on. As long as, on our end, we need Kelsey to come out and have another big game. As always, he needs to be Mr. Reliable. We need and I hate that I have to keep saying this every single week, but Sammy Watkins, McCole Hardman, D-Rob, somebody needs to step up and help out Hill and Kelsey in the receiving game. Pringle, we need you to step up and at this point in the season, man, you are working for a roster spot potentially next year. step up and earn something. D-Rob, you're auditioning for a new contract, whether it's with us or with another team. We'll get in more into the off-season stuff later on in the year, you guys. But the other thing to also look at is when we played these guys last time, Tyreek Hill had no catches. And we still ended up beating the Chargers 24-17. Do I think that they're going to shut Tyreek Hill down and shut him out again? No way. Do they limit him? Yeah, but I don't think that they can shut him out for 2 games. I will be extremely surprised if they're able to hold him catchless for 2 games in one season. That's almost inconceivable at this point in his career with as good as he is. But we need other guys to step up. It cannot all be on Kelsey. The only guy who we have on our injury report that is going to be out for sure is Morris Claiborne. Not exactly what's going on with him. He was limited in practice all week, and then on Friday he had a non-injury related absence from practice, and he's been ruled out. So everybody else is healthy and is good to go. So I expect for us to be able to control this game early and often. Game plan wise, I think that we're going to do everything within our power to come out early, and hopefully by halftime or at latest by third quarter to be in heavy control of this game, so that fourth quarter we can shut things down, put Mahomes on the bench, sit our key essential players, and let them watch from the sideline while we beat up on the Chargers some more and right into the sunset on the regular season and off into the playoffs. Hopefully they're not going to be doing a whole lot of scoreboard watching, because unfortunately New England plays at the exact same time as us, and shut off the scoreboards and just focus on the game and get this win, you guys. Although if we do lose, does it necessarily affect our standing? It could, because right now if we were to lose and the Texans get a win, then they could end up jumping us in seeding and take the 4th seed. But again, I'm okay with that, because if that happens and we get the wild card win against, 4th seed, we would end up playing the Buffalo Bills, but they would have to come to our house. We would then go to Baltimore and get to beat up on Lamar Jackson and a returning Mark Ingram from a calf injury. And I would be totally fine with either scenario of going to Foxborough and beating up on the Patriots, or going to Baltimore and beating up on the Ravens. As we've seen earlier in the season, we have the defense to shut down both of those offenses. And I feel highly confident that we could go to either location and get a win there, even in a playoff atmosphere, which is different than the regular season. I'll give you that. But I feel very confident that we could do that. And so, with that being said, you guys, have a good night. Please be safe tomorrow. Enjoy the game. And let's get this win and run into the playoffs with confidence high, and keep our eye on the prize, because that Super Bowl, it's coming soon, you guys. It's coming soon. Keep up the confidence, keep up the good thoughts, and let's go get this, you guys. Have a good night.